Welcome to the Cold Blooded Caffeine Podcast. I'm Trey.
And I am McKendrick.
Welcome to 2024.
All right.
First podcast of the year.
Yep.
So we're really excited to be back.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year. So this is the first one of 2024. So we're changing things up a little bit. If you didn't notice, you know, we're in a little bit of a different setting. So we're actually in our office.
Yeah, we're in the building.
We're in the building. We used to do the recordings in the lobby, and we're trying some new things. So one of the new things that we're going to have this year is we're going to have some guests come on.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty exciting to get some folks from the industry in on some of the podcast interviews. So that'll be cool.
So we've got a couple of guests lined up already. Actually recording the first interview hopefully today. If we can get some kinks worked out of the system. But yeah, so we're trying to get set up so that we can do the interviews in a better fashion, so that we can have microphones and inputs correct and everything like that. So so that's why we're changing into the office. So we'll get some things revised a little bit as we go along. So bear with us, but the audio hopefully will be good, and we'll be able to, you know, be a little bit more I don't know I don't know why, just, you know, put together and, you know, more formal looking in the future. So
so we're starting a new year, new journey for 2024. I'm excited about new things that are coming this year, but also just kind of reflecting back on 2023. I think we really had a good year. You know, I think
it was a good year.
2023 was the launch of the podcast, of course. So
we started taking YouTube seriously. We really put a focus on social media. So like 2022 was like the make sure it doesn't burn down year.
Right.
And 2023 was like the, you know, start looking forward and start building something.
Yeah. I mean, I think we diversified a good bit in 2023, right? Adding the podcast, YouTube, being more intentional about social media. And now coming into 2024, we're being more intentional about bringing on guests and adding more content that would be more relatable to our audience. So definitely excited about that.
And even from a business standpoint, so 2024, we've already launched tea as an option on our website. So we're starting to push forward with things outside of just the coffee that you've come to know from Cold Blooded Caffeine. And we did that intentionally. So maybe we need to do like a separate podcast on tea and why we chose tea.
For sure.
Oh, by the way, if you see me look over this way, that's because McKendrick is like right there. So if you see me look over, it's because I'm used to talking to him, and so it's a little different.
Your camera.
I know
Trey.
it's a little different to just look at my camera and not look at not the person that I'm actually talking to, who's 10 foot away from me.
The discipline behind the changes that are being made are going to be a challenge.
It's going to be a challenge, but that's okay. I mean,
but it's cool.
It's about growth. There's learning curves, but
and the reality is, I mean, this isn't to say we will never go back to our other background. Like we may dabble in and out of different backgrounds, just
on location.
Yeah, we may maybe do that as well. That's not a bad idea.
Grab some guests.
2024, just grab people off the street. Taste this coffee.
Drink coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a quick podcast. We just wanted to kind of touch base, make a happy new year podcast, kind of give you some ideas of what we're going to do in 2024. So like I mentioned, we've got the launch of the tea that's coming up. We got a couple of other beverages that are pretty exciting that are coffee related or tangential. Is that a word?
Tangential. I mean, it can be. So that's a good thing about me being right here. I can just pull out my old trusty phone here and test and check to see if these words that Trey is making up are in Webster's.
So we'll have products that are close to coffee or related to coffee that we'll be adding as well coming up. You can probably guess what some of those are. I mean, whenever you think of coffee,
we got some projects that step a little bit outside of the lines of coffee products as well. But
there are some other some other stuff that we're working on that are very much unrelated to coffee and very much terrifying for me to think about.
So, I mean,
But
those are all things that, I mean, at some point, probably separate podcasts to talk about just new products, but that's
yeah,
definitely one of the things that I'm excited about for 2024. Just continuing to be creative in the space when it comes to, you know, the entrepreneurship of what we've been doing, right?
yeah,
So I think once we've got into this space, it's hard to come out of it. Like you're constantly trying to figure out ways to kind of reinvent yourself, right? And it still starts with the baseline of, you know, we started with coffee, cold blooded caffeine, really caffeine, and then kind of proliferating from there, right? Like what else can we potentially get into that still fits in the sandbox a little bit, but it's still just that entrepreneurial spirit that just doesn't go away. Like you're always thinking about the next thing,
yeah, yeah,
and that definitely excites me for 2024.
yeah. Me too. So what I think it'll be fun. What were some of your New Year's resolutions that you came into 2024 with?
I don't
Do you
know
do
that
New Year's resolutions or?
I just think about things like how am I going to approach the year, right? So
That's fair.
my
This is the year of kind of,
for
you
me,
know.
it's being relentless,
Mm,
right? So I thought about that. Like that was my word coming into the year. Like, all right, I need to be relentless about things. So I looked at 2022 was kind of like my travel year, so to speak. So it was like invite me and I'll go. Coming out of COVID is like,
mm,
hey, I'm just gonna go just do things. Last year was really all about just the grind, like
mhm.
work, trying to get things stable, but just constantly grinding. And then this year is just being focused and relentless on getting things where I want them, like across the board from professionally, personally, and it'll be a combination of a little bit of travel, but also a little bit of grinding, but just being relentless about achieving goals and making things happen this year. So not so much resolution. I mean, if there's always things that you know everybody talks about, of course, like losing some weight and getting a little bit healthy, eating better, which I've started to do
Mhm.
that as well. I've been doing a lot of salads
Mm,
this year, starting out, especially for lunch, and trying to do reasonable dinners. I've already been part of a gym, so it's just now getting back to some level of consistency there. Um, just things like that, right? So just and then like most everything else is really just focused on like this grind and this business, man. Just gotta be relentless about it. So if I'm really gonna focus on like losing weight, be relentless, go after it, be tenacious about it. Eating healthy, the same thing, stuff like that. So I'm just kind of the straight and narrow, middle of the road, probably the same as like 90% of Americans who say the same thing about, resolutions and things that they want to do.
yeah. No, I mean that makes sense. I mean, I like the way you put it though, is the making it like an embodiment of who you are and making the year a mission.
Right. Yeah, right. What
So
about yourself?
yeah, for me, so I turned 35 this year, which is kind of I don't know. For me, it felt like always the year that was okay. I'm not young anymore. Like,
Right.
it's kind of the time where I start to think about, okay, it's not like I'm not like a midlife crisis or anything. Like, but like, okay, like if I'm going to get myself into shape or if I'm going to start getting some better habits, I should probably start doing that now.
Right.
Because it's only going to get progressively harder as I get older. And so like 35 is kind of like the red flag might not be the right word, but the
Yeah.
signal that's going off to say, okay, the way that you acted and the way that you ate and the way that you
You
did
treated your
things
body and
in your 20s is gone, right?
yeah.
And because you didn't make those changes until now, things have slowed down a bit, right?
Yeah.
Things have so in my head it's like, okay, 35, that's a good enough time to really get serious about my health and my physical fitness and being able to do things that I want to do for longer than the current outlook would
Whatever. Right.
so
Because your body
things.
was like, you're on a trajectory going this way,
Yes.
buddy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so the joint pain and the things that shouldn't really be the way they are
Yeah.
at 35. So that's kind of the motivator here to get things back into a better situation. So trying to lose a little weight, mostly just trying to get in better physical shape, like being able to, do. It sounds kind of lame, but doing a lot of stretches and doing a lot of things that are just,
those
good,
things are important, man. Like
good for, because the past, I've had similar resolutions pretty much every year since I turned 30. And the problem with them is that, you get a couple of weeks in and I do great and I'm, exercising every day and I'm not stretching or I'm not doing the smart, healthy stuff. And I end up, pulling a hamstring or something. And then I'm laid up for 2 months. And then there goes that New Year's resolution. So I'm trying to make it less of a resolution, like you're saying, and make it more of a habit and make it more of a lifestyle. And
I think you, even in your case, probably need to be a little bit more intentional, right? Because when it comes to roasting, it's not like there's a lot of activity that's happening here at the office, right?
It's in spurts, right? So there is physical activity, like coffee bags weigh a lot of weight, right? So you have to be able to move them around and stuff. But then the rest of the day, I sit in a chair and roast coffee, right? So, and so there's certain things that I can do that might improve that, like I could stand instead of sit, or things like that. But really, it's a fairly sedentary position.
You might have to check out one of those infomercials where they have the little thing under
elliptical,
your desk where you're,
the little.
You
like just see me going
on every meeting, just like, why is Trey moving like that? His feet are just
yeah, that's why.
Man,
cool. That's really my mission, and I'm trying to do it broader than just weight, because I feel like a lot of the principles that are being applied in that, like, so putting your workout shoes closer to the in a certain spot so that you see them, building good habits, right? Like setting time aside so that you have it every day and you don't feel like you're losing that time, and whatever can be applied to a lot of different areas in my life. And so I'm trying to do that with other aspects of my day. So like, doing some like Duolingo courses and stuff, like where I'm learning a second language or refining a second language or something like that. Building good habits that I'm challenging my mind. Because again, one of the things that I noticed is that days that I roast a long period of time, my brain kind of gets fuzzy because it gets repetitive, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm doing the same thing over and over again, and I'm letting my mind wander. So trying to do things that fill up that time, that doesn't take away from my attention for roasting, but in between a roast cycle, I can do a Duolingo course or something like that, and challenge myself instead of just sitting there scrolling Facebook or something,
right? And
while the roaster warms up.
And I think about, some of those things are good for your mental well-being as well, right? Like I'm actually trying to do more with like listening to podcasts and like absorbing more educational content instead of just like music or whatever, talk shows or whatever, morning shows or whatever it is, right? So I think those type things are good for your mental stability.
I've also started listening to audiobooks during my lunch break instead of, like, I used to watch like a Netflix show during lunch, because I literally sit at this desk and eat my lunch most days, and it's on my computer. I'll just throw up a Netflix show, eat my lunch, and then but then I noticed that, one, I'm not really paying attention to what I'm eating, and I'm not really enjoying the show. It's just more of a filler stuff. So replacing that with an audio book or something, that I can at least challenge my mind. TV for me, I love TV. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that get rid of TV. But TV gives you everything you need to comprehend it, right? So it gives you the visual as well as the audio, right? But like an audiobook for me, I'm having to, in my brain, put together those pieces of the puzzle and create that picture in my mind. And to me, it's more mentally stimulating than watching a TV episode. And so I have enjoyed doing that over the past couple of weeks. Now the problem is that I really enjoy series, like books in a series.
So you like series over like
over a standalone?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Love series, because I think I love building like relationships with the characters, and I'm sad when those characters go away. But the problem is, so I used to use Audible a lot, the Amazon audiobook people, but they're kind of expensive, right? So it's a monthly subscription where you get a book a month or whatever. But I go through a lot more books than that, and it gets kind of expensive.
Mm.
So I started getting our library is a library that uses Libby.
Exactly.
So I started using Libby. Now the problem is that, like I said, I'm a series person, and not all of the books in the series are always on Libby.
Yeah.
So I would listen to a book, and then the next book wouldn't be on Libby, so I'd have to go to Audible and get that book on Audible, and then go back to Libby for the next one. And the next one's not on Audible, so I still have my Audible subscription.
Gotcha. I found out about Libby through Dave Bowers.
Yeah, I remember. Because he was big into it. And my wife uses Libby. She doesn't really do audiobooks, but she does. You can download like Kindle books and stuff like that on Libby as well. So she uses it for that.
Good. That's awesome, man.
So I've enjoyed it.
Good stuff,
trying to set good habits for the new year. Trim my beard.
We all need those. Man. That was a complete chop.
Yeah.
I let mine kind of bush out a little bit. It's gray hairs taking over it. But the cold weather is like gone now.
Man. So, it's like 70. It was 65 degrees when I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 75.
Like January 25th, and it was almost 70 degrees at 7 a.m.
But then this last Saturday, so this is a Thursday. Thursday. Last Saturday it was 27 degrees.
Yeah, crazy, because I was doing some volunteering that day for 4.5 hours out in less than 30-degree temperature. So it was insane. Temperature swings are like crazy.
And so I mean, as you would expect, every member of my family has some sort of flu, sniffle, cold type, illness, because the temperature swung by 50 degrees in 3 days. So we're still kind of nasally and stuff, but we're getting through. So hopefully with the nicer weather, it'll come with more outdoor time and getting out. So because that's some of the hard part for winter. Now it was kind of nasty weather today. It was kind of rainy the past couple of days, but still. Yeah. But so you can keep the beard, or you're gonna trim it up, or what you thinking?
I'm gonna hold on for maybe a few more weeks. It probably won't make it to the end of September.
Goodness gracious, you're gonna be
February. I just probably keep it a few more weeks. I think. I don't know. We'll see.
I think I'm gonna stay short for a little while.
Yeah.
It's a little. I mean, so it's kind of tough because it's more maintenance and it's less maintenance.
So, question. Did you have it at Tinley Park last year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so they were in the process of growing it out then, because I was about to say folks in Tinley hadn't really seen it as long as it was, but it was that.
It was long, It was October. It was definitely long. Yeah. It was probably still growing out a little bit in March. I can't remember the last time I trimmed it back. There's videos. It's probably since we recorded the. I think when we started the podcast, like the first podcast,
it was pretty long.
It was short.
Short. Oh, okay, gotcha.
So maybe that was the beginning of last year.
Yeah, maybe
that it was short. My hair doesn't grow very fast. Like my head hair grows pretty fast, but my face hair doesn't really grow very fast. You're getting way too much information about
this is what you can expect in 2024 podcast.
Yeah, we're getting all up in there. Yeah. So it took I trim it to get like the dead ends and stuff off every 2 weeks or so, but that was a year's worth of growth to get to where it was. But it's lighter, it's easier to eat food.
So we got the 2024 Trey.
Yeah.
Is with us right now. So
that's it. Yep. My hair is also blonder. I feel like you can see blonde highlights in my face when it's
okay. Enough about your
enough
hair,
about my face.
Enough about your face and your hair.
I got a lot of nice comments when I trim my beard, so I'm trying to milk
ladies, no
keep them coming.
Comments.
Keep them coming.
No comments in the
I need
section.
I need the ego. I need the ego. Come on, bring them.
You have a bearded blend coffee like something crazy. Oh,
but
man.
No, so that's it. I think that's probably it for this podcast. It's mostly just
it's a happy new year. Welcome back. We're happy to be back in the saddle and doing great things.
Stay tuned for guests. Gonna have seriously, like some really, really good guests come on. Some people, but I mean, there are people that we've worked with and that we really, really respect. And we're really excited to have on. So stay tuned for those. We're of course going to continue with the just the two of us podcast as well, because I think we've gotten some comments from people that really enjoyed just the genuineness of it. And talking about,
and we got things to talk about.
We got
stuff. We got
stuff that you need to know.
You need to know. All right,
that is it for today. And I don't know. It's been a minute. How do we sign off? We play the outro music. Okay, I got you.
Out.
This has been another episode of the episode. That's the word I was looking for. Episode of the Cold Blooded Caffeine Podcast. I was Trey. That was McKendrick. Cold Blooded Caffeine Podcast has been brought to you by Cold Blooded Caffeine, your source for fresh roasted.
Come on, Trey.
Coffee with a conservation mindset. Check us out at coldbloodedcaffeine.com. Don't forget tea. We have tea now. Check out the tea. Bunch of different flavors and new ones being released pretty periodically. Also brought to you by the Coffee Run, Charleston, South Carolina's local coffee delivery service, servicing Charleston, Somerville, North Charleston, Ladson, Goose Creek, Mount Pleasant, Monk's Quarter, and all other surrounding areas of the Charleston area. Check us out at coffeerundelivery.com. That's it. I'm out. I don't have anything else.
Good, because you're way out of practice, buddy. Cold Blooded Caffeine out.